Thank you so much for joining us, and we are absolutely thrilled to be introducing you to the brand new Pediatric Emergency Room at Nash Healthcare Systems. And here to tell us about it is Larry Tuning, CEO. Welcome, Larry.
Thank you, Jean. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, this is a really happy day for all of us, for the community, for the hospital, for everybody, isn't it?
It really is. It really is. A lot to celebrate.
Well, and it's been a long time coming.
It has been.
The
it has been.
generosity of you all made it possible, and we'll talk about that a little bit. But Larry, when I was reading about it, this is the 8th out of 130 hospitals in North Carolina that have a pediatric designated emergency room, right?
Correct. To the best of our knowledge, there are 7 other in the state, so we will be the 8th, and so we're just very excited about that, particularly for our children. It'll be so much better than the environment that they're in now. So we're just.
Well, and let's talk about that, because if parents watching, grandparents watching, if you've ever taken your child to an emergency room, it's really tough. It's scary.
It is.
The child is sick. The child, something's wrong, and to go into an adult environment makes it worse.
It is, and I think the cold hard truth is that all of the societal ills that we face every day show up in the emergency room, and to place children in the middle of that is just very tough, and clearly affects the care they get in the environment that they're in. So we're very excited about this facility being able to remove them from literally the first step they take inside the building. They'll be in their own space, and it'll be just other children with them at the same time.
Well, and I'm looking at bright colors behind us, and we're going to show you, in fact, we're going to take you on a tour, so you really get to see what this looks like with all the child-friendly furniture. There's TV, there are games, and the equipment too. I mean, children, it's what, birth to 17?
Yes, I think in general, the cutoff age will be 17, so that'll be kind of the line in the sand relative to separating adults from the children that will come to this side of the new emergency room.
And the staff, the staff is going to be carefully chosen, and has been carefully chosen for people who have extra training in how to deal with kids and little kids. Exactly.
Both from a nursing perspective as well as from a physician perspective. We're very fortunate to have a physician on our staff now, Susan Parlow, who did all of her training in pediatrics and in pediatric emergency care, and so she serves as the physician medical director for the pediatric side of our emergency department, and she and her husband are new to our area, but most of her training was in Dallas at a very large children's hospital there and emergency room setting. So
everything's large in Dallas, isn't it?
Exactly. Everything's bigger in Texas. But anyway, she's just so well trained and such a wealth of information and resources to us here. So we're just glad to have her.
Larry, this Nash Healthcare Systems draws from 4 counties, right?
Correct.
Wow. So there's a big need. Create for everybody. The need for larger, in fact, there's a new adult emergency room too.
Correct.
As well as children. But what's going on here that necessitated more size?
Well, the emergency room that we've been in for the last almost 20 years was really built to handle a patient population of about 40,000 visits a year. We measure everything relative to size based on the number of visits you have annually. And so when that emergency room was open, it was built to handle about 40,000 patient visits a year. In 2013, we saw about 66,000 patients. So,
wow, so we half had again as many as capacity.
Exactly. So we were grossly overcrowded in our existing emergency room. And really, the origin of this project really goes back 4 years to 2010, where we made a definitive decision that we really needed to build a new emergency room because the volume was going up every year, 2 or 3% every year, and unfortunately there have been emergency rooms in our state that have closed, and every time that happens it puts more pressure on the existing ones. So, but we're just glad that all the planning has turned into a new facility, and we're anxious to get in.
Well, and I have to say, we're standing in front of a donor board, and I would like for you to share with everybody how generous the community has been.
When we made the decision, when our board made the decision we're definitely going to build a new emergency room, we debated the merit of having a pediatric section of the emergency room and determined it was going to cost about an additional $5 million to be able to construct the area that we're in now, the new pediatric emergency room. And our board said, we're going to do it. This is the opportunity of a lifetime. We're going to do something special for our children. So I
want to interrupt here and say, Brian Aldridge, as the original person in building this, always wanted this to be on the cutting edge with private rooms, and so you, Larry, and your board are following in his footsteps.
Yeah, he was a pioneer. I had the privilege of knowing Bryant when I was a student at Duke, and when he was the CEO here, but he was always a couple of steps ahead of everybody else. So
now you're doing the same thing.
Well, we hope that we are carrying on his tradition. But anyway, our foundation took up the gauntlet and said we will launch into a capital campaign to try to raise half of that additional cost. And so they are just now concluding a capital campaign. Originally, the goal was set at $2.5 million, and we think it's going to end up at about $2.8 million raised. So they have just been spectacular in helping to make this happen.
And it's all size donors too. I think that's really nice because people have sent in $25 gifts, and everybody's name is listed right here to come in, and hopefully you won't come in an emergency, but come in to tour the place and just be able to see your name and know that you had a part of making this possible.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, congratulations to you and the board, and I speak on behalf of many people watching, I'm sure, Larry, to say thank you for your leadership in this.
Thank you.
It just means the world to us to know that we've got this facility here.
There are a lot of awfully talented people here that have made this happen, so they deserve all the credit.
Well, sounds good to me, but I think we're giving a lot to you. Cindy Worthy's going to join us in just a minute. Can you tell me what her role is in the pediatric emergency room?
Cindy is our leader in nursing in the emergency room and has been in that role for several years. So she kind of handcrafted the layout and the profile and the services that will go into our new emergency room. So all of the 100+ people that work in the emergency room work for Cindy, and she's our leader here, and we're so fortunate to have her in that role. So
a great leader she is.
You will learn a lot from her.
Okay. Thank you, Larry.
Thank you very much.
Cindy, we knew to expect you from what Larry said, but Dr. Kenneth Moore, welcome to you. But I understand it's not welcome because you've been in our area for how long now?
Actually, I've been in Rocky Mount for 15 years.
Well, and you live here. We love that,
ma'am, I do.
Cindy.
I
we
certainly
really
do.
Cindy, I want you to brag on him because we are extraordinarily fortunate to have a person with his credentials.
We certainly are. We're thrilled. And Dr. Moore is our new medical director. And he comes highly trained, highly respected. The staff enjoy working with him. Pediatric trained. So for our new pediatric emergency room, it's wonderful that our medical director has that specialty as well. So we're really excited. You've been our director for what, about 4 weeks now?
For about 4 weeks now.
About 4 weeks.
I'm excited to be here in this capacity too.
That's right. That's right.
And I want to say you're an MD and MHS-CO. What does that stand for, Dr. Moore?
Well, the MHSCL stands for Masters in Health Science and Clinical Leadership. That was a master's degree that I earned from Duke School of Medicine, and actually helps me to look at the bigger picture in terms of looking at how to integrate various specialties from social services to administrative to financial into the running of a department. I had classes that were from the School of Social Work, as well as School of Nursing, School of Business, and School of Law, as well as the School of Medicine.
Well, and that helps people working with you to know that you've had that broad-based experience.
Exactly, more of a global picture.
It does. What does this wonderful new pediatric emergency room mean to you, and do you see it meaning to your patients?
Well, it is something that I actually welcome. We have a growing pediatric population in Rocky Mount. We see approximately 18 to 19% of our patients are pediatric patients. That is those under the age of 18. And it is increasing. And so one of the things I think we can do to provide the appropriate services to our clients is to make sure that we have an area that caters to their needs. And for kids, it's a frightening experience to come to the hospital anyway, to be hurting. And so building this department that is kid-friendly with colors, with tables that are a little bit lower, with staff that are specially trained to work with kids, means a lot to me. We try and alleviate pain in various ways through distraction, so that it really is going to be helpful not only for the child but also for the parents.
What about the equipment here? I know that I look around and I really enjoy seeing things are lower here.
Exactly.
The height, but for testing and whatnot, aren't because of the bodies being littler and whatnot, do you have to have special equipment?
Well, actually, most of the equipment is going to be standardized. We do have pediatric-sized equipment for very special needs in trauma and in acute situations. Those are actually scaled not only to body weight but also to age. And as you look in some of the rooms, you'll notice not only the colors, but the earpieces that we use to look in the ears are sized for children. So
Blood pressure cuffs would be
for
smaller
children,
for little arms.
exactly.
Toys are more appropriate.
Exactly. So that's a good thing. I think it makes a stressful situation less anxiety provoking for everyone involved.
The staff, were you involved in helping Cindy, I guess, with recruiting the staff here? Are we bringing in new people, or were you able to retrain people who were here?
We've done both.
Okay. Kind of expand on that.
Our what we've done for both the pediatrics side but also the adult side, we are staffing based on volume. And so our staff, our shifts have changed, the numbers change based on the time that we have trended patients arriving. So for pediatrics, we may start with one nurse up until 11 o'clock. Then we add a second nurse on. And that second nurse will then help through the surge. It's interesting. We can tell you when school gets out because parents bring them, they show up, we can tell you. We can tell you.
With illnesses and injuries both, would that be post-school, the kid hung in there through school and came home? Or
that's right.
Maybe got hurt
Or they may have
afterwards?
gotten hurt in gym. So they
exactly.
twisted an
Gotcha.
ankle or something. So the parent picks them up from school and brings them by here. So our staffing, and for both the providers as well as the nurses, is trended based on 2 years of research. And so we're modeling it in order to accommodate the surge of patients at particular times. So, but we've added on both provider staff as well as nursing staff to accommodate the expected increase in volume. We're staffed now to see approximately 170, it feels like, to 176. We are staffing this year for 186 on a daily basis, and we're expecting an increase in volume in pediatric alone of 10 to 15%.
That's right.
And that kind of scares me, as representing everybody at home thinking too. Are there more injuries to kids now, or is just a pure increase in population dynamic, or why are you seeing more? I mean, it makes me so sad to think of hurt kids. Are there any things happening in the community or that are making that more likely?
No, not necessarily. I think it's a combination of all of the above. Parents are also more aware of illnesses and injuries, and they want to have our opinion on what's going on with their child. We work in concert with the local pediatricians because at the times that their offices are closed, we are their consultants here in the emergency department. So we actually try and work with their patients, find out what's going on with them, treat them appropriately, and get them back to their family docs. So it's not necessarily an increase in injuries, although that has happened. Increase in illness, that has also happened. However, it's just more the awareness and working in collaboration with the area pediatricians that I think has also helped.
Well, did you get most of the equipment you wanted?
I think we have.
You
I
have
think
a
our
wish
needs
list?
might grow, but we don't know yet.
Well, and until you're actually living it,
Exactly.
I think you can learn a lot through that.
We have, our board and the hospital administration has been extremely supportive
Great.
on what we've needed and what we've identified. And it's been through research. It's been through setting standards. What is the best practice for not only pediatrics but for adults? What are the standards of care that are out there, and what do we need to do to deliver that standard of care? They've been very supportive of us.
I can tell with Dr. Moore's leadership that you have clearly hit a home run on this one. So
Well, thank you so much.
we are thrilled to death to welcome you to this new role, even though you've been here for a while, and appreciate all you're going to do to take good care of our kids.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you. We're going to take a break, and then Cindy, you're going to join me, I think, with somebody from the nursing staff too.
Okay.
Okay, we'll be
All
right back.
right.
Are you just starting out on your own and want to be independent? Do you have a family and need a bigger home? Are the kids moving out? And are you downsizing? First Carolina Realty can help. A 1 or 2 bedroom apartment or house for those starting out. A 3 or 4 bedroom home for a growing family. Rentals, sales, new homes, pre-owned homes, investment property in the city or in the country. Call First Carolina Realty. Now is a good time to make that move. Real estate prices are right, interest rates are low, and there is a fantastic selection of homes available. First Carolina Realty is a full-service licensed real estate firm with offices located at 1100 West Thomas Street, open 9 to 5:30 Monday through Friday. If you have rental properties and are tired of the headaches associated with managing them yourself, or if you're looking for a new management team to manage your rental properties, call First Carolina Realty at 252-985-2321. Visit our webpage at firstcarolinarealty.com. We will gladly help you with all your real estate needs.
Hi, I'm Jean Almond of Almond's Drugs, and I want to invite you to be Almond's customer for your prescriptions. Our average pharmacy wait for your prescription is only 10 to 15 minutes. We have drive-through windows at both locations. We will deliver your prescription free. Our friendly and very experienced pharmacists specialize in consultation, and we are locally owned and have been a loyal part of your community for over 70 years. Just make one phone call to us and we'll make the transfer so we can start taking care of you. Thank you for staying with us. We are so excited about this fabulous pediatric emergency room in our area. One of 8 out of 130 hospitals in all of North Carolina, and we've got the newest, right, Cindy?
The newest.
And the most beautiful in all of North Carolina. And Wanda Sohn is joining us. And Wanda, you're a nurse in this area, and have you been in pediatric nursing for a while, or are you new to this area?
So I've been an emergency room nurse for 12 years, and we just see everyone from birth to, 90, 100 years old. So this is the first time we've actually had a specific area just for our pediatric patients.
And will you be located in this area exclusively?
No, I'll be throughout the ED.
Okay.
That's right.
Well, Cindy, I'm going to let you, and Cindy Worthy, who wears more hats here, right? You're hiring everybody and orchestrating everything here. But Cindy, I'm going to let you kind of discuss and jump in here and help kind of draw out some of the things that you've seen Wanda do and that y'all are doing from the nursing perspective.
Wanda is she's being modest, but she is one of our shift supervisors. And she has worked predominantly the night shift to provide leadership at night, because we do not roll up the carpet at 5 p.m. or shut down our lights. We are open 24/7. And that's not just for adults coming in, it is for pediatrics coming in too. So Wanda is out there, and she's on the pulse beat of the emergency room. Wanda has played a large part in the leadership team for the emergency room, but also with one-to-one training of the staff, assisting our clinical educator with rolling out the pediatric training. We've made efforts this year with picking the staff that will be staffing the pediatric emergency room, and we wanted staff that really like working with children. And so we picked, they volunteer, we interview staff, etc. And now those staff have been going through for the past 4 or 5 months specific training for pediatrics. And Wanda also is participating in we're rolling out what we call Calmer Kids Program, Ouchless ED. And just like Larry talked before, we are really focusing on decreasing and hopefully eliminating most pain, because a child's experience, through research, it's shown a child's experience from the get-go in an emergency room can impact their experience throughout their life with healthcare delivery. And so we're moving it up a notch, and we're using music, distraction,
Bears.
We are using a child the age of 1 to 6. The first time they come to the emergency room, they're getting a comfort bear. And we're a pamphlet for education about their experience, and we're going to invite them to bring Ned, Nash ED, back with them if they have to return at any other time. And the older children, we already give coloring books, etc. Age appropriate toys and distracting tools. The whole goal is to keep the child calm, and frankly, it'll help keep the parent calm too. And we want them to have as much of a positive experience with their visit as possible. They come in, they're scared. Parents are scared, they don't know what's wrong with their child, and the children, of course, are scared. And we start in the waiting room if the child is able. We even have little donated John Deere tractors that they can ride back, and they can
East Coast equipment.
From East Coast equipment, right? And then they can ride them out at discharge. So we're looking at ways to create a very calming environment for the children.
Wanda, how has the staff been receiving all this training? I would think they would really want it and welcome it so they can maximize their ability to relate to the kids.
They do. So pediatrics are so much different from treating adults. Their anxiety level's different. You treat them just totally different in the way that you approach them, especially if you have some sort of frightening or painful procedure that you're getting ready to prepare them for. So it's just sitting down and building rapport and trust with the children, going through these pictures and distraction cards. If there's something that like an IV stick or an injection, like a shot or something like that, something to decrease their anxiety level. Our staff have been well received in training for pediatric traumas. So when bad experiences do occur, that we will comfort the child as well as the parents as much as possible. So the staff have been really engaged and excited about these new educational opportunities.
Have any of the staff here ever worked in a pediatric emergency room before?
Some have. There's a few that have worked in the pediatric ED and other places, so they're really excited about bringing that here as well, and they're helping get the other staff involved and excited about it as well.
When I look around, there are kind of smoky windows looking into that area, and of course these have different with the little blinds and whatnot. What would be the why would one go in one area versus another?
So this particular room over here with the smoked glass is one of our isolation rooms. So if a child has like a communicable disease, chicken pox, or anything like that, where you would have to wear the mask and the gowns, those particular rooms are set up for those situations, where there's an anteroom where you go in and dress in before you enter the patient's room, and before you leave you can go into the little middle room to take the gown and gloves off, so you won't expose the other children to those things.
And if a child needs x-rays or needs other further examination, are they close by?
They're all within the department.
Oh, wonderful.
We're very fortunate. We have 2 x-ray rooms, one connected to pediatrics, and then we have an ultrasound, we have a CT, and nuclear medicine is right upstairs. And so we really have tried to create a one-stop service. We have a satellite lab and a satellite pharmacy. And so pediatric traumas, children that come in, they've been in motor vehicle accidents. We actually have set up one of our trauma rooms, Trauma Room 3, and it's for pediatric trauma. Now, of course, we can treat adults in it too, but it's got pediatric-sized equipment and crash carts, etc. We would not be treating them in this area because it's trauma, but the staff that are specially trained will go to the trauma room and cover them while they're there. So we're working on that. A lot of little
like you
details.
thought of everything. I mean,
Try
I'm sure
to.
once you open that, you know, you'll live with it and flow with it. But with the excellent staff, with the beautiful facility, I mean, I hope all of you are as excited as I am that we in our area are just so fortunate to have such a fabulous facility and to know that our children will have the best experience possible, and their parents do, if they do have to go to the emergency room.
That's right.
So Wanda, Cindy, thank you.
Thank you so
welcome.
much.
Appreciate
Thank you.
it.
We're very excited.
Oh, yeah, I can tell. Great, and thank you. Have a great day. We'll see you next week.